So since our project got delayed on the boat, it's probably going on 2 years before we got this thing in the water. So now we gotta make sure all the fuel's out of it and got rid of it so we can put good fuel in it. We have the electronics on it because it's been sitting. As you can tell, that's what it looked like, and I am washing everything off to get all the mold and the grime off of it, clean everything up, and we're gonna try to get the fuel lines bled and get it over in the water, get those motors started, because it looks like caca everywhere. And all the miscellaneous projects we were starting, getting the new toilet in, and all the grime. We had all the tools and buckets and everything still down there from the last time we worked on the boat, which was, we'll say, a good while ago. But we'll see what happens today after we get everything cleaned up and try to see if we can get the fuel lines bled. Alright, we're going to try to put this, we'll call it fake flooring in. All it is the foam flooring to look like wood. You can get obviously different shades of the colors, and if you want black stripes or white stripes in between them. And it's just literally cut. It's like just this foam, really thick foam stuff. So, pretty good glue on it. We'll see how long it lasts. We kind of pressure washed everything, and I mean, if we really have to take the tanks out, then yeah, if we're paying the much money to take the tanks out, it's going to be like just cut up the floor and get to the screw holes. But obviously we leave the access ports and then the little scupper holes. We just cut little spots for the scupper holes and everything. But it's all it is. It's a cut, measure, and well, measure and cut. I don't know if you want to cut first, but yeah, and then you just basically peel it off and it sticks, and then you just stick it to wherever you want to put it. So obviously we still got to get some right up there. We might put some down in on the downside here, down in the center there. We might put some down there. I had some extra strips, so I stuck them there, a little extra. I'm trying to use stuff's expensive, so use it as much as I can. If you remember, we were trying to figure out how to dive off the boat. We can get off the boat, but we will never ever get back on the boat. So we were trying to figure out how to build like some type of platform, swim platforms off of it. So we got these aluminum plates, learning how to stick weld, but basically bolted it straight through. Obviously massive silicone sealant, and then obviously more sealant and silicone through the whole thing, all the way up around. And to seal it all off, rested it on the center, well, the center board there where the motors are at. So this we kind of figure this will be like a jump off platform, and to get on to the platform from the boat, we got the same type of platform on this side underneath. And then all we do is have a swing down ladder. So we bought one of the big huge long ladders and we cut it, and all we could do is just take it, bolted it, and just swing it down. So when we're in the water, we can get back out of the water and climb up over. Since obviously this has been a 2-year project with the electrical and everything, and the motors were serviced and haven't been in the water for 2 years because we haven't had no electrical or power because of re-gutting the entire electrical out of it. We put them in the water the other day, and they both fired up, thank God. We flushed the fuel out of it because we didn't know how much bad fuel was in line, put new fresh new fuel in the tank, and then they both started up, a little cranking obviously, took a little bit, and they were both spitting out water, but it was this motor over here, this one on this side, we kept getting a warning light, like a battery warning light, like it was dying. So either the alternator's not like charging that side, or we have a ground somewhere shorting out. So we still have to figure that out. But at least, thank God, they both start and they ain't all seized up or anything like that. Alright, we gotta show you our little electronics, our pretty new electronics. We have the battery switch down here. Turn it on. This is for electronics, electronics only. Everything's engaging, kicking in. And then battery switch over there is for the batteries for the motors only. So it doesn't, we can have these on and it won't kill our starting batteries. And to turn our electronics on, got an electronic switch. Light's kind of red there, saying it's on, but it's a little bright outside. Electronics. We have a Raymarine, because it was what we had when we purchased our sailboat a long time ago, and that we got rid of it, so we ended up converting everything over to this boat. And we can download, I think from what we're saying is we can use it to download and sync it to here, but the problem is we were trying to play around with the Wi-Fi, find out how to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth it together and try to combine it, but it was not syncing. The Raymarine didn't want to connect to our phone Wi-Fi or Bluetooth Wi-Fi or house Wi-Fi. It just said it was like not connected, but it was secured or whatever, like it was on. So it recognized the password, but it didn't want to like actually have Wi-Fi. So we have to figure that part out too. And don't forget to turn the battery off. I don't want to kill a battery. So all that's off. And down here we're still working on obviously some of the little stuff, electronics. This used to be that old propane, whatever, alcohol burner stove that flopped down. We got rid of that thing. And the cover that we had here, obviously because everything sticks out a little farther, we're going to build a frame and then put the little flap door on it because obviously these cords are way bigger. And then down below we have a mess still, but we have all the electronics we are working on underneath for solar, battery banks, and whatnot. So that is what we got going on for there. So there's still a little tweaking with that. And the bathroom. Look, it's a bathroom. It's the head with wires still hanging out. Look, it's the back of our cluster, our console cluster up there. But yes, we got to put that in. Look, we got a toilet just sitting here. We got to get that in too. So yes, that is still all more projects to do. But at least the electronics are done and functioning. And we are working on a few little like lights here and there, but we actually decided to buy some of these battery operated LEDs and stick them through all different spots. They just take AAA batteries, throw them in there. They're those waterproof ones that you can like stick in the pool, and you got a remote, you can change the colors too. So we'll be able to have like darker red lights at night if we need to, and then the brighter ones in the day if we need to have them. But that is so far what we have accomplished with the boat. It's been a long process because obviously life with it has pushed us behind on this boat, and just time consuming, and we have a lot of other projects, a lot of other things going on. The boat kind of got pushed to the side for a little bit, but we started working on it, and we're hoping to get it in the water and test the motors on running and driving, and hopefully not stall and get stuck there and have to call sea tow. But we're planning to do that next weekend, and then hopefully get it out and running fully by the following weekend. All right, you know how a lot of people have their life vest bags up in the top of their center console or somewhere up there hanging above their heads? Well, me, great driving. Strapped it to the front. I don't care if I can't see out of the window completely. That's down in the bottom, so but it's on there pretty sturdy. Yeah, the sun's probably gonna beat on it and it's probably gonna wear out, but at least we got some zipper cubbies to store like some different things like that we need to store up there, and then all the life vests we can store unzip here, and then we have little pockets to store little things up on the front, and it stays out of the way, and if the kids sit up here they'll have something to lean on. But that's where we ended up storing the main chunk of the life vest, which there's only 2 in there right now. I need to go get the rest of them, have them in storage. So, but I ran out of flooring. So we got all the flooring in, except for a little piece right there, and I want to put some down at the bottom, on the bottom center area too. But, yep, that's the flooring. We finally found a replacement cap for this gas one. We kept ordering the metal ones to come in, and they would always be a hair too small. So West Marine, just go to West Marine, and we found it's the plastic ones, the only ones that seem to fit these ones. So finally found a gas one, and then put the waste one over there, back on the waste one, because we took the waste one off and put this one on there, and then we were playing around, and then we moved out, and then we had the water one down there. But yeah, so we got all the caps on now, got the scuppers on. We keep the boat charged and plugged in because we ran a box for our boat and our camper, since they run the same thing, so we were able to power our equipment and keep the batteries charged and topped off while it sits. But everything seems to be on. We got all the fake flooring in, we'll call it. It's just foam. We'll see how long that lasts. And then we ordered some sensors for that motor, since it keeps going off. Initially, first it was just the battery light. When we took it over to the marina and tested it out, the battery light would go on, and then but this time it actually said the check engine, so it's like either a sensor or the fuel system or something's going on with it. But we actually got a diagnostic tool we're ordering for these year models, because obviously we want to continue to test them and everything like that. So, but we think most of the time it's usually just one of the O2 sensors. So we ordered some sensors anyways for it, and then we're gonna use a diagnostic tool to run a test on it. We could probably still take the boat out if we had the one motor, just to test everything else out on it. But we had the hose hooked up to it earlier when we were trying to play around with it. But flooring's in, all the little knick-knack stuff is kind of coming along. We still got to get a latch put on that door. We have obviously all the electronics done. New harness for the Honda, wiring harness back from it when we had the dealer do that. And then my husband did all the electrical for all the electrical components that you've seen down there. Got the little fake flooring down there too. So everything's kind of coming along. And we got all new lines. So we don't have it so we have all our pull lines basically throw over to the dock. People can pull the boat over. We got 2 permanent ones on the left and right, and then this larger one, the 20-foot one, we can move from left to right as we need it. And then up here we did our little bumper storage area. Put new ropes on the bumpers too. And then store little bumpers up there, get some out of the way. We got all 6 of our life vests, near shore life vests in here for all 6 of us. And then we got up there, we got our throwable, and I will have a throwable cushion coming in, because when we bought the boat, we think the captain's cushion kind of got wore out, and they took the one from the passenger side, because passenger side don't have the cushion. We have cushions for up in the front that bolt on and clip on here, so you can kind of sit down, and then it'll be kind of nice, and then you can lean against the life vest, and it'll give a nice little seating area up there for guests or when we anchor the boat and just want to chill. So we got our new dive flag that we can stick up in there. We also got our hook pole. We went to West Marine today and got when we got the gas cap. So we got that. So just getting the little stuff that people forget, and the little stuff that we need to do. So we got the fire extinguishers in now. So we got the one right there. We got the one down at the bottom. And I'm trying to think. I think that's pretty much about it for all the little itty bitty stuff that we got. My daughter likes to fish, so we threw some fishing poles there. And we got all our nice little fishing stuff in here in little containers and stuff. So I got my big huge fishing tackle box and consolidated it down to this one and this one. So we got a lot of that. We got some ocean, obviously, fishing ones, because I do have some ocean fishing poles, and then the little ones when we're down in like the rivers and stuff like that. But and extra little parts, screws, nuts, bolts, clamps, and stuff like that, extra parts, O-rings down there, and little miscellaneous parts here. We're going to order some extra parts for the motor too, like the impellers and everything. We'll get that all stocked and stored. And then over here, we have our emergency box kit too. So we got our first aid kit there, emergency box kit, which has a whole bunch of tools in it too, along with our air horn and flare gun and some other little miscellaneous stuff and bungee cords and stuff like that in there. Got some grease, some T9 grease to stop rust and everything like that. It'll also, if you put that on the back sides of your electrical, it'll help preserve all your electrical wiring. Just like kind of spraying a grill with Pam spray to keep it from rusting. Spray the whole outside. And that's what we got going on. Okay, trying to figure out what year these motors are, because they are two different ones. And so we go to the hondamarine.com, and these are 225 horsepower, so you do, and they're BF. And then it brings you to a whole bunch of other ones saying BAGJ and like 100,000, and it's like 7-digit numbers, and then it goes all the way to like 8 something. So here, right here, is what you're looking for. So we got BAGJ and then the 130. So 13, you're looking for the 13, because they have them in categories 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way down, and then all the long digit numbers afterwards. So that's how you know what specific exact owner's manual for the one you have. So this one, 13 one, was a 2005 motor. So this one's a 2005, and this one is 10. So this one is a 2002 motor. So, and this is actually the one we're having issues with right now, which we're going to have to buy the impeller. But so we got a 2002 and a 2005 Honda 225 horsepower motors on these boats. And here is a website that had a generic model of how to measure your transom. We know we didn't have 20 inches or 15 inches, so we had the extra long, but we're going to go measure again to make sure we don't have the extra long, make sure we're in the right spots, because that will determine on that other site what we were doing when we were talking about here. Because remember, I was like, oh no, there was some more stuff in there. There was an XXA and then the BA1000, because that's the one where we have the counter shaft one. So we have the XCA, which should be about a 25 inch. So that's what we're going to verify to make sure we don't have the XA, the extra long 20 or 30 inch one, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna have this one. It's for our motor, so I did it by pretty much just 3 symbols. We had the BF symbol, the BF, then we have 225, so BF 225. Now this is where I wasn't sure if it was the LA or XX, meaning like extra long, so we have the XA version, so we have the XA, but if you remember those other numbers, we had 10 was the first one and 13 was the other one. So now we have to look up XA and XCA. So the counter one was the older motor, which was this one. So we have the XCA for this one for parts, and then we have to go down to it would be just XA 13. So that's when we have to go for parts for the 2005 or 2005 motor. And now, since we pinpointed exactly what type of motors we have, I am able to look up specific parts that I can start ordering for a little extras and to replace some of our older probably needs to be serviced motors. So that will help everything out. And it seems like our 2002 and 2005 parts are exactly the same.